ain't scared to lose a little, take a risk and make it back. Have you seen the way I train? Ain't no slipping off a track. Cause we only move forward, ain't no way we going back. There's big money on the table, I'm not trying to break the rules. Cause my ego now I'm poor and I got bigger things to prove. I done stood it's time to plan it out and now it's going smooth.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, this is the third time I am trying to start this episode because, well, I wouldn't say the third time. The second time officially trying to start this episode, and that is because the first one was a trial run. But I want to give you guys a little bit of an update as to where the podcast is at, where it is going, and what my intentions are with it. I feel like I do that a lot. You know, every probably 4 to 6 episodes, I kind of go in a little bit of a update with you guys, and that's just because the podcast is a huge driving factor as to why I'm in this space in general. I've had the podcast for 4 to 5, I think maybe even upwards of 6 years maybe, you know, just kind of like getting into the mental health space and sector because, to be honest, fitness has always been in my life. I am very grateful for the shape that I am in. I'm very grateful for my business. But the biggest thing with the podcast is that it's just a huge chunk of my heart, my life, my experiences, and I'm just so real, raw, and vulnerable with everybody. So I'm really just trying to bring more of myself out into the episodes. And currently with what I'm doing is I have a new setup. I have a new microphone I'm using. It's the same mics that we use for like our gym content, but I'm actually walking around the house, being more free and trying to be side tangent a little bit. Something I've been working on a lot recently is just trying to be a lot more present in my life. And, you know, there's a saying that I've been going through, I've been trying to process lately, and that is, you know, and this is a huge takeaway for anyone that's struggling with something like this in their life right now, is, you know, we have our life within our life situation. So meaning, you know, I'm doing a bodybuilding show, I'm running a full online coaching business, I have my podcast segment on the radio, I have my weekly group calls with my clients and my teams, and it's like that's my life situation and that's a part of my life. Who I am amongst that, the version of me that I show up, is me living my life within my life situation. And I feel like lately I've been really taking a lot of time to compartmentalize who I am amongst my life situation, you know? And what I mean by that is I'm really dissecting certain things to increase my quality of everything because I'm just so happy with where my life is at. I've worked so hard the last 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 years to get to where I'm at, and I'm just super grateful. And things truly, I don't want to say couldn't get any better because they fucking are going to continue to get better, but it's just one of those situations where I'm just super happy. And I just want to share that with you guys because if I'm sitting here feeling this way, as grateful as I am in this beautiful home that I'm living in, recording, literally I have my mic attached to a spatula, and I'd actually argue with you if this is a spatula or a quote-unquote flipper. We've had an argument like that in the household, me and Emma, for a while. But nonetheless, this episode today is about don't take anything personal. And the reason why I want to talk about don't take anything personal is because that's a huge correlation of a core competency that I've developed over the last 5 years to get my life to where it's at. And that is just not taking anything personal. And there's a handful of reasons. But number one is because it's not worth your fucking energy. It's just straight up not worth your energy to like take things personal, because the way I describe people taking things personal is like, you know, there's a ton of analogies that I want to use, but it's like a Trojan horse. You know, if you're familiar with the war analogies of like the Trojan horse getting behind enemy lines, it was perceived as a gift of like, you know, it's a treaty, we're good, we're not going to fight anymore. But then the Trojan horse got behind enemy lines, and then it tore shit up from the inside out. And it's like, that's what happens when you take things personal. And it's just not worth your energy, you know, and it's not worth your mental turmoil to beat yourself up and take things personal and like literally build up an emotional arousal, like a volcano exploding in your mental health and your mindset of just all these things that don't matter because you're just taking things too personal. And then the second thing that I want to say with taking things personal and why you shouldn't, and as to why it's not worth your energy, is because people who attack you personally expose the depths of their own hardships. You know what I mean? And I think that's why it's not worth your energy. And that's the thing that I really want you to take away with this is, you know, when someone makes you feel like it's like a personal thing, then that exposes the depths of their insecurities and their self-doubts and their situation in their life. Because an honest, mature, intellectual, intelligent person that is actually trying to be a good person with an abundant peace mindset versus malicious intent and trying to take from anyone else isn't going to make you feel the burden of their emotions, you know? And that is just something that a lot of people respect themselves. And this is a whole other conversation we can get into about self-worth and stuff like that. But this just comes down to, like I said, it's not worth your energy, and it says everything about the other person. So take it as it is, you know. And if you've been here for a while, you know one of my favorite quotes is expect people to behave as they are. You know, like we all grow up with a lot of family members that make us take shit way too personal because it's like they're attacking your character, your core competencies of who you are, what you stand for, and that's because they're exposing the depths of who they are. You know, and I think the last thing I want to say to kind of close it up and just kind of like talk about is, I wouldn't even say last thing, is just because it's like, it's pretty straightforward about, I just really want to make these episodes a lot more impactful versus going on as many rants. But, you know, the biggest thing with like not taking things personal is like, you know, make sure there's no reaction, because your no reaction to people trying to make you take things personal is the reaction, you know. And it's like, I know that's hard to not get triggered when you take things personal, but you have to allow that to callous over time. You know, every single time that you just not give a reaction to somebody that's trying to attack you personally, and you just hesitate to just, you're like, nope, I get it. Like, and it's, I'm not saying deny the emotions and like lie to yourself and say, oh no, I didn't take that personal. Like, be honest with yourself. If shit fucking hurts and it stings and hits you to the core, allow it to feel that way, but then allow yourself to, again, understand it's not worth your time, because it's all about the other person exposing the depths of their character to not have a reaction. And your no reaction is your reaction, you know. And it's, you got to just continuously stay strong to build that up and callous that neural pathway to stay strong and commit to yourself in that regard. And that's how you can close off this episode, honestly, is because that's when we get into a conversation about boundaries and why it's so important to stay strong with a boundary of not taking things personal with certain areas of your life. You know, unless it's a Cinderella effect, the shoe fits and you got to take it personal. That's a different story. And, you know, sometimes that's considered constructive criticism, which is a very healthy thing. But again, if someone's coming with negative intention and shit like that, then there's no benefit to taking that personal, because, you know, they're just trying to hurt your character and things like that. But nonetheless, I feel like that was a short, impactful, strong episode. And, you know, that's all I want to do is just get on here, get into these rapid episodes, because I just want to give you guys a ton of value. If I had a picture perfect world right now, I'd be doing episode drops every single day like this. But, you know, I am just not structured enough. I got too many projects on the go. And like I said at the beginning of this, I'm just super grateful for where I'm at right now. But take this energy into the week. Do not take things personal. It is not worth your time. It says every single thing about the other person. It exposes the depths of their character. And your no reaction to their bullshit attack of your personal character is your reaction. You got to allow that to callous over time. And then that's a conversation for another episode about boundaries and why they're so fucking important. But other than that, I appreciate you guys all. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to hit a review, because it just means the world. And, you know, other than that, have the absolute best motherfucking week ever. And let's do what you do best, and that's show up. Let's get it.
Lights hard, but we go harder, yeah, that's a fact. We ain't scared to lose a little, take a risk and make it back. Have you seen the way I train? Ain't no slipping off a track. Cause we only move forward, ain't no way we going back. There's big money on the table, I'm not trying to break the rules. Cause my